Thomas, it's up for grabs now! Thomas!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it!
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Henry.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Arsenal Lounge, another episode of our weekly podcast. Unfortunately, we have to start the show off with the sad news again. We talk about Arsenal family and we're a community. Unfortunately, I don't know if you guys know or not, but Chig has passed away, unfortunately. He was doing a lot of shows, especially with Lee Gunner. So our thoughts and prayers are with him and with his family and friends, and obviously Lee as well, because I'm sure it's quite hard on Lee, who was doing a lot of shows with him. So, R.I.P. Chig. And we'll start our show. Lev, how are you, my son? You okay?
Well, firstly, mate, thanks for saying what you did about Chigs. You're echoing probably what we were all thinking. Whatever the situation, football is just football, and this is far more important. So RIP to Chig and his family and his friends and all of that, 100%. But on a more positive note, I'm happy to be back on a Monday. Looking forward to discussing this. I love this show. I love it. Even if it is only Tom. Do you know what? Tom, you upset me. We're going to talk about this later. But I went on Tom's show, just to see how he's doing, show some support. Sent a really important message in there as well, Shaheen, just to let you know. Put a question in there, wanting Sophie to ask and all that stuff. Answering. Do you know what he said? No, leave it. It's only Lev. That's what he said.
How dare you, Tom?
He did.
How dare you?
Yeah, I like to whatever you guys in the chat think as well. Yeah, that's I'm hurt. I'm deeply hurt, but I'm looking forward to this show.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll get over it soon. Mo, my brother, how are you? Loving the t-shirt.
Thank you very much. It's lovely. But listen, I'm glad you opened up on that, Shaheen, actually, because Chig did. I didn't know him personally. Actually, I've never really interacted with him, but he did what we are doing right now. Like he's here talking about a club that we love, and and I'm sure the other way around, if God forbid that has any one of us four, Lee and Chig, when they're doing their thing, would have said it. And also heart goes out to Lee as well, because he lost Claude, and that seemed to affect him quite deeply. And in such close succession, he's lost Chig as well. So Chig, his whole family, and Lee, all of Chig's friends, fans, whatever. Thinking of all of you.
Yeah, definitely.
Well
Tom,
said,
you knew Chig. He came on your channel a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah. Chig came on to the Gooner Talk a few times. Not in recent years. And I mean, it's always is with Arsenal. Like, you don't always have the same opinion, but at the end of the day, your love for Arsenal is exactly the same. And you couldn't doubt Chig's passion for the club whatsoever. And thoughts are definitely with his family and Lee and everyone that was very close to him, for sure.
How are you yourself? You're good?
Yeah, mate, very good. Actually, just on that, I will mention my friend Ola. Of course, I know some of you will know Ola, Black Scorpion 3 on Twitter, who was very close to Chig as well. And so, thoughts are with him at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm good, mate.
How you all coping with the lack of technology this evening?
Oh, it's weird, isn't it? Without Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, it's all gone.
I'll tell you what, Sheen, it's changed him. Didn't take long.
You need to let this go, man. It was one comment.
No, it hurt, Tom. It hurt. I'm just telling you. That's the first time I've actually said.
Man, you've touched Lev.
That's the first time I plucked up some courage to speak to direct on there. Do you know what I mean? Acting as a TGT member, and you just shot me down, man.
You're not a member. You've not signed up as a member. Don't claim you're a member of the channel. You're not a member.
Why do I need to be a member? I'll get you free every Monday.
To be a member, mate.
That's true. Mo, let's start with you. What was your thoughts on the game?
Oh man, I was so disappointed. With games like this, what I find interesting is, right, if you ask someone before the game, if we draw, is it 1 point gained or 2 lost, that answer is completely different having then watched the game. So then when you talk about it after the games, some people they kind of revert back to how they felt before the game, and other people talk about the game having like what they've seen factor into their decision. So clearly, I had ambitions of winning that game prior to seeing how it unfolded. But then seeing how it did unfold, I'm like, well, lucky not to lose. And I guess it's, because obviously what happened didn't match my expectation or my hope going into the game. That's why I feel really disappointed about it. Whilst, let's say, for example, against Chelsea or against Man City, I expected to lose. We did lose. Obviously, the manner of the defeat made it even worse. But on this one, I expected to win. Like, not expected, but I really, really thought we could win. And then I just thought the performance was so poor. Such big key players for us just didn't show up. So I just felt like it was an opportunity that was lost because, we had that conversation about turning a corner last week. This one would have been like, had we won this, it would have been like, okay, come on, surely now. Even the biggest doubters can see that we are definitely on that path to turning a corner. Whilst now it's sort of like, I don't know again.
Yeah. Tom, following on from Moh said, I'll go back to the point that me and you both raised last week, going back to consistency. And that was an issue. What did you think of the game?
Yeah, well, I mean, as Lev graciously rose in my chat earlier on today, I did predict 4-0, I think it was last week, and obviously that I mean, Lev, I think you predicted 3-0. To be fair,
no, I predicted the win as well, mate. I was just laughing at us, really. To be honest,
I think that it is just the way of Arsenal fans, isn't it? Like we get excited very quickly. We're off the back of 3 wins. We got our tails up, and we think it's going to be all plain sailing. And in reality, it just doesn't work that way. Look, Brighton were brilliant. Let's not downplay them at all. I thought their pressing game, and fair play to Graham Potter, he's got that team absolutely clicking exactly how he wants it to. I think we'll go into some of the finer kind of tactical stuff in a bit, but I was disappointed with the result. I did look at it as 1-point game just with how good they were and how poor we were. But if you were talking to me before the game and said, if we draw this, will it be 1-point gain or 2 points lost? You would say 2 points lost, because it's one of those weekends where Liverpool drop points, City drop points, Man United drop points, Everton drop points, Leicester have also dropping points as well. And we always find that whenever those teams do, we can't take advantage of those situations. Yeah. And that was one of those situations. And I know that people will say, why are you talking about Liverpool and City? Well, like, if you want us to get into the top 4, like, you've got to be looking at the teams that are getting into top 4. So I still do mention us in the same breath as them, just on those lines. But it was frustrating, really frustrating. But we'll get into some of the finer stuff in a bit.
Do you know, obviously, we're going to come to Lev and Sheen as well, but I just wanted to ask Lev a question, actually, if you don't mind. What did we speak about last week in the pod that would start doing? Did we have an idea that we'd start doing a
forfeits?
Yeah, but what are they based on?
I see where this is going.
Wait.
Yes, Moh.
Firstly,
that is a very good point, actually.
Firstly, it was a suggestion that nobody jumped on, and nothing's been put. Nothing's been put. Nothing.
No, we did that.
I think we did that.
It was actually your idea that we should do.
Wait. Listen,
wait. Are you not going to let me speak though? Wait.
But what did I predict?
You predicted a 1-1 draw, didn't you?
So I got the result right. So I'm on 1
Yeah,
point.
but hold on. Even if it was based on forfeits, I haven't got the worst result. It's got to be surely Tom, who went for a 4-0.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a forfeit every game. I thought.
Well, no, I thought we'd do it at the end of each month.
We
didn't nail it down, did we?
First of all, this was never set in stone.
Thank you, Tom. I'm with you on this one, brother. I'm with you on this one.
Second of all,
now you're with him, Lev.
Shut up, Moh.
I am well up for this. I'm all up for doing a forfeits thing, but we need to lay out the rules. I need a contract. I need signatures. I need everything. I ain't doing nothing without.
I do think we need to set something in stone. We do need to.
I know, I'm top of the league. 1 point. You guys are on nothing.
Okay, so whoever finishes top gets the forfeit.
I think, Lev, you said 2-1 win. I said 2-1 win. Tom was, I think, 4-1.
I won last week. No, I won the week before. Yeah.
No, we didn't start the week before.
Oh, it doesn't count for me.
No, we didn't start it. We might as well start.
Oh, okay.
No.
Now I'm seeing a little trend going on here.
Yeah, start from last week.
Anyway, if anyone in the chat wants to give us an idea for a forfeit monthly based on tables, based on our predictions, let us know what the forfeits will be, and Tom will definitely do it. Next.
Well, next is what was your thoughts on the game?
I know you want my opinions. Yeah, there's no.
Well,
no
it's
more
your turn unless you want to give
not
it a
trying to
pass.
stitch me up before my go. It's all right, yeah. But no. On a serious note, you know what? It's a strange one for me because I was disappointed with the performance in some aspects, but I was also. It's a strange thing to say, but actually quite happy in the way we defended. Is that weird? Is that strange? I'll tell you why. Because I think the teams of old would have buckled, where we showed a bit of grit there. We didn't play well. We didn't play well. We gave up way too much of the ball in the midfield areas. I'm not sure what he was doing with Lokonga in that midfield, but it wasn't really in midfield. He was dropping back into this weird left back type position that Xhaka has been taking. Maybe if he had gone with a proper 2 centre midfield pair in a normal formation, we might have performed better. But the defending impressed me in the sense of Gabriel, gritty, Ramsdale, last second saves. This is stuff we haven't seen this Arsenal team do before. That's the positives out of the way. But I was very disappointed in our ball retention. I was disappointed. I mean, some people said Partey had a good game. I don't think he did. I don't think he had a good game. I think he was left isolated. I think Aubameyang was awful on the ball. He just kept giving it away. His touch was poor. Decisions again in the final third were left a bit sort of wanting. And as I said, we kept giving the ball away. So I am disappointed in that aspect. But having thought it through, I think a lot of teams are going to drop points at the Amex this season. So looking at the way we played, and we still came away with something. I think if we played like that in the past, we wouldn't have come away with anything. So I have to look at that as a point gained.
Okay. I thought we were very lucky to get away with the draw. Ramsdale made a couple of good saves. There was a couple of good defendings mixed with our striker being poor. I thought, we were lucky to get away with the draw. I agree with you that as I said to Tom earlier, we go back to the consistency. If you want to finish high up in the table, you need to be able to go to places like Brighton and get a result. I know the conditions was poor. It's difficult to play football in those conditions, but it's games like this that would make a difference at the end of the season. Brighton is under good form now, right? So when you said teams will go down and drop points, I'm not sure if they can keep that form going for the whole season. I expected us to get a good result there because we were on a good form, we were on momentum, good results. But on a positive note, we came away with a clean sheet. And as you said, the defense looked better. I also think this game was a bit of an eye-opener for some of the new signings, or a couple of the new signings. Tomiyasu didn't really have a good game, and I think he would see now what's happening, what the Premier League is like, and there will be nights like this that is difficult. You're coming up against a physical team, and as you said and Tom said earlier, there were players who were poor. Odegaard was poor. Aubameyang was poor. Top Partey didn't have a great game, and you're right, we couldn't really work out what's Lokonga's role in a team. Mo, was it down to? Couldn't you lay any blame on Arteta's door for the result?
No, I don't think so personally, because I finally feel with Mikel Arteta that we're now in a place where we're not questioning decisions. We're not kind of pulling our hair out saying, why the hell has he done that? Why has he done this? We've got a back five that's solid and we know what to expect. And we can generally pick the team ahead of him, and it's not too dissimilar. There's not a particular player or a particular position where we're kind of crying out for, like we were with Mesut Ozil, and something creative. So Mikel Arteta has had enough stick from many people, including myself. I don't really think that he needs any more or deserves any more off the back of the Brighton game. I thought with the subs as well, he made the right subs. Odegaard and Aubameyang coming off, they were the right calls. So had he gone and done something silly like, taken Emil Smith-Rowe off or something and then put on El Neni, then yes. But everything that he did, I thought, fair enough. I can see why you're doing it.
Tom, would you have made those substitutions a bit earlier?
I would have made completely different subs, to be honest.
Would you? What would you have done?
I would have brought either, and a lot of people may react weirdly to this, but I would have brought Maitland-Niles or Cedric on at half-time for one of Lokonga, Smith-Rowe or Erdegaard, probably Erdegaard, because I think he was probably one of the weakest on the day, and switch to a 3-4-3 because our back four against three at the back systems, as shown against Chelsea and now Brighton, just get overloaded in the wide areas so often, and we're just not matching them up. It's so strange. The only time we've tried a three at the back system was away at Manchester City when we got blitzed because it was included the likes of Kolasinac in it and it just wasn't set up very well whatsoever. I would have gone, I would have brought on Maitland-Niles or Cedric and put them at right wing back, shifted Tomiyasu into the centre of a three, put Ben White at right centre back and Gabriel left centre back and pushed Tierney into a left wing back role. So that every time that Mark Cucurella came forwards, he didn't have just Tomiyasu to deal with, that Ben White could either back up one of those right wing backs on the right hand side. And he wouldn't have had anywhere near as much joy as he did down our right flank. So I would have done that. And then also I think that would have given us more control and would have got us on the ball a lot more. And then we could have got more passes up to the striker. I think one of the key things that we saw online was a lot of people saying that we should have made Lacazette for Aubameyang earlier. For me, I don't think it mattered which striker we brought on because we just weren't getting the ball up to them. Like I think Aubameyang received 9 passes during the entire game. Like,
but that's the point, though, Tom, isn't it?
Yeah.
That Lacazette doesn't wait for the ball to come to him; he drops deeper.
True.
And it's not so much about getting the ball to Laka; it's about what Laka will do to get the ball to other midfielders that are run beyond him. So
yeah, I see your point. All I would have said was if you made the formation change first, so you change the formation, we get control of the ball, we've got more possession, you wait 5-10 minutes. Is Aubameyang still not in the game at this point when we're getting in more of the ball and more chances? If he's not, then you make the change for Lacazette then. I don't think there's anything wrong in suggesting making the change of Aubameyang for Lacazette. It's just, I think, just doing that specific change on its own without gaining control in the match by changing the structure of the team, I don't think it would have had a drastic effect on the end result.
Okay. Lev, just before I come to you, there's a few super chats I want to read out.
Lev, listen, man.
One of them is from Ian. Sorry, Mo, go on.
Yeah, it's like what Lev doesn't realise is that it's the suspense. He's the guy everyone wants to hear from. So, like, you just delay it. Like, who wants to be a millionaire? Is that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah. All right, mate. Yeah.
There's
Early
few,
rounds.
there's a few super chats to go through. Obviously, super
you have
chats
to bring
are
this,
always
you have to
very
bring this
welcome
one up.
at
This
the
one was
Arsenal
ages
Lounge.
ago. Do you have to bring this one up?
Yeah, but still, man. Ian, thank you very much for your super chat. You need better photos. Only Moses is any good. Not sure if it's a towel or a dressing gown, Shaheen. That picture is for Lev.
I love the fact that you
with
can't tell the
Arsenal
difference between me and you, Shaheen. I love that. It's like,
I don't know how I feel about that, you know.
what are you saying?
But listen. Look, Ian has messaged him with a super chat. So
Ian,
I'll do the host
appreciate
job.
it.
Thank you.
Can you not tell? You know, Lev has got there's those Ozil eyes. I don't. So you can tell. You see?
Oh, you're taking it there now, yeah? Do you want to talk about this, Pablo? Do you really want to go?
No, it's all
Why
right.
don't you just do the other chat? It's like other super chats, yeah.
Right,
I'm
right,
having a
chat,
shit day.
man.
First
Lads,
Tom,
Ian,
then
thank
him,
you.
and now you. I've had enough of this shit.
Let's hate Lev today.
Wait. Ian, thank you. And yes, it could be a better thumbnail. We'll take your advice on board. Look out for the new thumbnail.
Right, Shad, man. Happy Monday and hope you're well. I hope all is well with everybody. I wanted to give Tom a special thanks for his article and Jamie O'Hara. Excellent work, Tom. Great content in this channel as always.
You're very welcome, mate.
I was just like, we're getting
I enjoyed writing it, to be
doing
honest.
a Talk TV super chat here.
Love it. Hey, you
No,
saw
there's
yours,
another
mate.
one.
Take it.
I didn't read it. It's only Tom.
Well, yeah, it's only
Wayne
Tom,
Sage.
Wayne Sage, thank you again for your super chat, man. You're always here with your super chat. I disagree with no, we're not going to read this.
Can I read that?
No, I'm
Can I read
joking.
that?
I'm joking.
I disagree with Shaheen. He knows nothing
Go
about
on, Lev,
football.
read it.
We weren't lucky. They had 20 shots and only 2 on target. That's excellent defending. That's a good point. In the past, this is a match we would have conceded and lost. Can't win every match. Maybe Wayne agrees with me, Shaheen, and not you. Just saying.
Evidently.
Thanks, Wayne, though, by the way.
Evidently. But
Bless.
Lev, coming up to you.
I forgot I was doing this. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, it's all right. It's all right. Don't worry. How much of this would you put on Arteta's doorstep?
Do you know what? Firstly, I'd agree with Tom on the changes in the sense of what I would have done with regards to the team. I do agree with that. Would have done it sooner. What are you laughing at?
I'm honoured. No, I'm honoured, mate. You carry on. I'm liking this.
I'm really sensitive today. Anyway, on top of that, though, the only thing I would be concerned about is whether if he made any changes, whether it would have made any difference. And the reason I say this is because they outworked us. When you looked at their work rate and their pressing off the ball, it was just far superior to ours, and we couldn't handle it. And then we couldn't even keep the ball when we did get it. We were caught languishing on the ball, taking our time. I think Partey got caught with it really badly once or twice. Tomiyasu got caught in possession. Obviously, we can attribute it to the fact that Tomiyasu is a new league, new pace. I'm sure he's never played at a pace like this before in his life. We can accept that he's learning on the job, and I still have no doubts that he will become a top quality signing for us. However, my concern is, whatever we did, would it have made a difference down to our work rate? It did make a bit of difference when Laka came on, and that was when ESR went through, isn't it? Laka played him in, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
I think that was Partey.
Was that part?
Lacazette came short. He played, I think, to Saka, and I think Saka played.
Are you talking about the chance where where Smith Rowe could square it to Saka?
Yeah, and
that was only in the 50. Was that not in like the 70-something minute? Or
Laka came on around that,
that
time.
point. Okay,
So, Tom, I'm trying to discredit.
Discredit me live.
Just trying to discredit me live on that show. Oh God. Anyway, no, but on a serious note, that is the only thing I would say. You could blame Arteta. I would have made the changes sooner. I would have probably jigged it around, like Tom said. He doesn't seem to have a plan B. That's the thing everyone keeps coming up with. What's his plan B? I think it was on Tom's show earlier on. I'm just joking, Tom. But I think one of your guests mentioned that it was one of those situations where if we had made those changes, I don't think it would have done anything any different the way we played. I really don't. I just think it's a tough one, man.
I disagree with you, Lev, if I may.
No, hold on, wait. When some changes were made, when Laka came on, I saw a change. However,
no, I didn't.
But however, I don't think our work rate was anywhere near Brighton's, and I don't think we would have won that game the way we played that day. I really don't. That's why I think our defense done us a favor, and we took a point home.
I don't think the subs made any change. I personally just feel like, we made one chance afterwards, but that's because Brighton left themselves slightly exposed and they got a bit eager to try and win the game that they should have won. But right. I just don't think that Pepe and Laka coming on made any difference.
Well, you see, Mo, the one thing I'm always wary of Mikel Arteta is that sometimes I don't think he reacts to the challenge that is in front of him.
Oh, that was it. Sorry, Shaheen. You're right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You do it all the time, by the way. But I did. But what I was going to say on Tom's show, I think it was Sophie. She said the Chelsea game. He didn't. It's the same thing, Shaheen. When Tierney was getting torn apart down that down that left hand side, he didn't make any changes, and we paid for that. That's what I wanted to touch on. Go on, Shaheen.
Yeah, I mean, what I was trying to say is we knew what Brighton is going to be like, right? You could tell by the tweet that they put out before the show where you got Mope doing this thing and all that, right? So you knew Brighton is going to be physical. They've got 3 tall, physical centre-backs, right? And Aubameyang is not really a physical player that is going to put it about, okay? So you're either going to have a lot of the ball so you can play Aubameyang through and hopefully he will score, or you try to offer a better physicality up front. And I think Lacazette would have maybe suited more to this game. And I just think Arteta's mentality was that, all right, this team won against Spurs. And if Xhaka was not injured, he most likely, or 100% he would have played. And his thought process might have been, we just go same thing again and we'll get a win. Sometimes I think you need to react to the team that you're going to play. Aubameyang against 3 physical, tall centre-backs is not going to get you a lot. And that's where I disagree with Lev. And when Lacazette came on, I saw that he was mixing it with them a little bit, if you like. And that's the only thing that I saw different more when Lacazette came out. I don't know if you agree on that.
Barely. I mean, I just think overall the kind of flow of the game, the sort of like dominance that Brighton had, if there was a change, it was immaterial. So, when you're looking for a sub, when Pepe came on, I tweeted at the time, like, I really hope he comes on with a point to prove and makes the difference for us. What was Laka's highlight in the game? What was Pepe's highlight in the game? You can't really think of many, can you? Maybe one.
Well, they didn't have a lot of time either.
Well, I don't know. I have to look back at the timing of the subs, but I didn't feel like they were meaningless time frames that they were given. And yeah, so listen, I was just disappointed, but I just feel like all of this is a reflection of Brighton's dominance. I really feel like they were just so much better than us on that day that, the players weren't able to overcome the fact that Potter won the tactical battle. So I think that was the key, not which player played where. And the other thing I'd say as well, just because you mentioned it, the Neil Maupay celebration.
Yeah.
God, I would have loved to have seen a last-minute winner to see if anyone did that, because honestly, it annoys me that Brighton got away with that. It really annoys me. That's such a joke. I'm not getting upset or emotional about it, but what annoys me is their level of confidence to do that to Arsenal before the game.
It just shows how much we've dropped a level as well, Mo, that Brighton is allowing themselves to banter us like that on Twitter.
Yeah, confidently. And we all saw James Milner mock Ronaldo and the whole respect thing, rubbish. He was taking the mick. So we all saw him mock Ronaldo. And for those of you watching Rennes versus PSG, it was Flavien Tate who scored Rennes' second goal. And he did the Mbappe celebration. It would have been a hat trick of absolute joke celebrations had Aubameyang, for example, scored and done the Maupay. But alas, we didn't get to see it.
You know what, Mo? Speaking of which, right? Where do you think Pepe's place in this team now? Because you see, football is harsh, right? And I'm sure Tom and Lev, you both agree with me. Football is harsh, and what's happened with Leno and Pepe, I think it's quite harsh. Those two in particular, because they haven't done a lot wrong, and all of a sudden they dropped. I don't know if this is a good thing. Is this what we've been crying out for the manager to do, to be ruthless and drop them? Or is it that he's been a bit too harsh for them and they've been mistreated?
No, listen, it is what it is. It's football. And I think we should be very grateful that Leno and Pepe have both been dropped, not because they've been awful, but because people have come in and you're thinking, well, they're undroppable. Saka on the right wing. How the hell can you drop him? Do you know what I mean? He's just been so good. And sort of Emil Smith-Rowe playing slightly off the left in a way a little bit. I just think that we're lucky that they're playing so well and Ramsdale's playing so well that Leno and Pepe, their time will come, especially Pepe, because obviously Ramsdale might go and play the whole season without getting injured. But the wingers, the wide players, they'll need a break. There'll be an injury. Pepe will come in and then it's up to him to prove himself and make that equally hard on the manager to say, look, they didn't do anything wrong, but you can't drop me because of how I'm playing.
Lev, what's your thoughts on that?
You know what? I get what you're saying in the sense of the whole dropping and it being a little bit harsh, but isn't that what it should be about? Isn't that what we want from our team? Do we not want competition? Do we not want players to go, shit, if I'm going to break into this team, I've got to be better than Saka. I've got to be better than him. The problem we've had in this team, we've had too many mediocre players playing week in, week out. So I think for once, look, if Leno wants to get back in this team, he's got to wait for that moment. Maybe when Ramsdale dropped that ball, if someone had scored from it, Leno would have been in next week, right? Because it only takes one error for a goalkeeper. So he's got to wait for his moment, and then when he gets it, he's got to prove he's better. He's got to improve his distribution. He's got to improve his all-round goalkeeping to keep that position. Same goes for anyone else in that team. Pepe, yes, he's a goal threat. I've seen people in this chat, and I love his ability, but there's no doubting in the final third, he's left wanting quite a lot. So then if he wants to get back in his team, he has to improve in the final third and so on and so on. So the only way we're going to get improvement in this team is for people battling to get into the side and trying to be better than the people ahead of them. And I welcome it. So I'm happy we finally got a little bit of ruthlessness going through the team.
Okay. Tom, just before I come to you, so now it's Tom and I left, so you'll be all right. We only got 60 likes, guys, and we've got about 180, 190 people watching. Please hit the like button. It's just one click and that's it. So please hit the like button and obviously subscribe to Arsenal Lounge if you're new here. Subscribe to Tom, the Gooner Talk TV, and Moh Haider. He's got his own channel. Tom, what's your thoughts on what we just discussed?
I'd sell Pepe at the first chance, to be honest.
You would?
Yeah.
How much would you settle, Tom, for him?
25, 30 million, probably take.
Fucking hell, that's a 50 million pound loss, Tom.
It's not his money, is it? It's not his money. I know his negunegating tactics. His negotiating tactics as well. Oh, it's only Pepe. It's only Pepe.
I think that we need to move for someone better.
Guys, in the chat, please, come on, please in the chat, tell me
Tom is saying
who's paying more than that for Pepe. Tell me, what club is paying more than 25 or 30 million?
You're a journalist.
Yeah, I know we are, but
who do you think, Tom? Who do you think would come and offer anything above 30
Probably
million
no one, to be honest, mate. I don't think anyone's coming in for it.
We would go back in for him.
Yeah, we'd buy him again. Buy his image rights on top of it. Yeah, I don't know who's buying him.
Sell him at first chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, Pepe gets too much disrespect. He has not been a £72 million player. But come on, look,
you just sat there and spoke about being ruthless with the team.
Don't talk to him like that, Tom. Don't talk to him like that.
But you just sat there, right, Mo, and said, look, it's great that Arteta is being ruthless with the team. He's dropping Leno, who doesn't necessarily deserve to be dropped, but we're bringing Ramsdale in.
100%.
Pepe hasn't deserved to be dropped, but we're bringing Saka in because you can't.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that
I'm being ruthless because I don't think Pepe is good enough to get us to where we want. I don't think he's good enough to get us to top 6, top 4. I don't think he's good enough. Tell me another team. Tell me the next Premier League team after us that he starts for.
Pepe at Man City would be incredible. He would. A team that dominates the ball, honestly, a team that dominates the ball, and he's got that possession-based system where he gets the ball a lot and he can, give a torrid time to his to the right back. I think he'd be brilliant.
I think Guardiola would take one look at his first touch and be like, "You ain't getting in this team."
No, this is overblown. This whole thing about his first touch is overblown. His first touch is absolutely fine. He's had a few bad ones. But it's like, when Bellerin had a run of a few City throw-ons, yeah? Then everyone was like, oh, that's it. That means he doesn't know how to throw the ball. People are just getting a bit carried away. We will obviously not be talking about Pepe's bad first touch because it's a myth.
Mo,
come on, Tom.
How long has he been at Arsenal? And we're still talking about his first touch. Now, I'm actually... I wouldn't sell Nicolas Pepe.
She's getting ready. Come on, I'm waiting for this.
No,
now,
I wouldn't sell Nicolas Pepe, but I can see Nicolas Pepe will probably be the next player after Lacazette that will walk away for free.
Guys, listen, please. This is disrespectful. Can you cast your minds back to when we had Pires and Ljungberg in the team? And I'm not saying he's anywhere near their level, but what was the ask of Pires and Ljungberg? What was the thing they got a lot of praise for? Can anyone remember? Double-digit goals. We always used to say in that era, the fact that they chip in with double-digit goals is a huge, huge part of Arsenal's success. Now, when I look at Thomas Partey, Nicolas Pepe, his first year in English football, he got 5 goals in the league, 8 goals overall. Yeah. Now, last year, 13 goals in the league. 10 goals in the league, 16 overall. There's not that many true wingers. I'm not talking about wingers like Salah, for example, yeah? I'm talking about true wingers that get more than that. So I know that sometimes he fails to, flatter a bit, but he manages somehow to have this knack in terms of chipping in with goals and assists. And I've only focused on goals here, not even looking at assists. So you can imagine over the course of these 2 years, and one of them was his first year in English football, his return, doesn't it deserve more respect?
Who starts for you, Mo, on the right wing, Saka or Pepe?
Saka.
So
Left.
So I want
This
to
is like
sell
that
him.
awkward conversation that you have, and then everyone just stops.
That's the reason why I ask is because if that's the case, then I'd rather sell your £30 million sub and bring someone in on the left-hand side that can score as many goals, and we keep Saka in the team.
Wouldn't we do better? Wouldn't we do better playing Pepe in his natural position on the left though?
I don't think that is his natural position. I think he's a right winger.
Well, he came on the left against Brighton, didn't he? And then they switched.
And then
to
switched,
the right.
yeah.
So the problem I have is when he's playing on the right and he's left-footed, all he's going to do is cut in, and he does become predictable.
Lev, he
People
was
in
playing
here
the
says
right
it's predictable.
in France as well.
Yeah, but look,
I don't care. That was France. That's not the Premier League, Shaheen.
Guys, Ian
Yeah,
Robin
it's
made
not,
a
but that
career
was-
out of that. Riyad Mahrez, he plays on the right very often, and he's still brilliant. So it's not that it can't ever work. It's just that Pepe needs to raise his game. And my point is, when you look at his goals and assists, is there an argument to say actually he is delivering?
Hold on, didn't he towards the back end of last season? Weren't we playing him on the left?
No, we played him on the left during the festive period last season.
And didn't he look good on the left?
He scored against Wolves and he scored against Southampton.
And then we dropped him.
Yeah, but the thing is for me is like I don't think we play him on the left right now because I think you play Ødegaard and Smith Rowe because I think those two are the best options to play together. There's no one in this team that presses more than Ødegaard at the moment in the team. We desperately need his energy. Smith Rowe is more creative and I think works with the balance of having Tierney as a left footer and a right footer and Smith Rowe on the left. But the thing is for me is I'd rather be in a situation where I'm choosing between Smith Rowe and Ødegaard as 10, and I'd rather have a situation where I can sell Pepe and I can look to bring in someone better than him to push us towards a target. I just don't. I think people look at opinions in a very binary fashion. Me saying that I'd move on Pepe is not me saying that he's crap. I'm not saying Pepe's crap, right? And that's not what I'm saying with my point. My point is that I think that we should aim to get better than Pepe because I don't think what we want to achieve, which if we're being real, yes, it's top 6 right now, but we want to get to the top 4. We want to be back in the Champions League. I don't think Pepe is good enough to get us back into the Champions League. I think we need to look bigger than Pepe to get back into the Champions League.
Okay. Can I just go through some super chats before we move on?
Yeah, of course.
Shadman, offer Pepe plus cash to Bayern for Serge Gnabry. He's out of contract soon.
Yeah, they're getting a new. He's signing a new deal soon, so that's not.
Yeah,
great.
they'll definitely go for that. They'll definitely go for that Bayern.
Sean, Arteta has had the preseason, has his own players and no midweek games. What are your expectations for the team this season?
That's a good question, Sean, man.
Quickly, guys, start with Lev. Just one word, please.
Oh, right. Go for one. Expectations for the team this season in one word.
Yeah, like quickly.
Top 6.
Mo?
Yeah, that's my expectation. I don't think he'll deliver.
Tom?
Agreed, top 6. But I do think we'll get it.
Cruiser, thank you for your super chat.
Cruiser
Response to Shaheen, Leno doesn't fit into Mikel's system. As for Pep, he's not good enough, or at least he can't play. I have to put the questions, both sides of the argument to the guys. It's not necessarily my view on this. And Wayne, thank you again for your super chat, my friend. Pepe literally outscored most of the top 4 team wingers, not named Salah.
Wayne again always comes out with something.
I know, man.
Arguable. It's a good
It's
comment.
very kind of you guys.
But listen, in fairness to Tom, yeah, because we've pulled him up on what he said and stuff, but he has, I mentioned the whole binary thing, and I'm not. I hear what you're saying there. It's not that Pepe's crap, but Tom, for me, it was the valuation that you're coming up with. I think if we signed Pepe for 25, 30 million, and then he delivered the numbers that I was talking about, I'd be saying great value. It's only because we signed him for like.
I hear what you're saying. For me, I look at value of players. I don't look at it what kind of I would value players. I look at it from the perspective of like who's going to pay any more than 30 million for Pepe right now. And I don't think there is many teams that, if any, that would. That's why I say that much. It's not that I think he's a 30 million pound player. It's I don't think anyone else is paying any more than that right now.
I don't think we're going to sell him, Tom. We're not going to take that hit.
No, I don't think we will. I don't think we'll sell. I think he's got He's got a year left on his deal at the end of this season, is he not? Has he got 1 or 2 years left after this season? He signed what? Let me have a look. I'll trace that up.
Moving on, guys. Just before, I just want to address something. I'm complaining because I can't send super chat from my side of the world. My friend, try to read out as many comments as we can. Obviously, super chats, they get priorities. We do have a section at the end of the show where you guys can ask Mo, myself, Lev, Tom questions, and we'll put them.
tell OGDBNNK, whatever his name is, drop a question in towards the last 5 minutes, and we'll answer your question, bro.
Okay, so guys, just one word answer, please. One word, right? Would you have Pepe on the left-hand side or Raheem Sterling? Lev?
Sterling.
Mo?
Oh God.
Be honest.
Say it.
Be
Have a little
honest.
think. Tom, I think
Say
it's quite
it.
clear.
Have a
what
word
Tom
with
is saying.
yourself, Mo.
Sterling, mate, all day long.
Mo?
No, I'll go with Pepe.
You can be undecided.
Yeah, I find it really hard. I think, is Sterling potentially a bit too similar to Saka?
What?
In the
Saka
style
plays
of
on
play?
the side.
If someone offered me that I can have someone as good as Saka on the left that's naturally a left winger, I'd say all day long. The same as I'd say if you could have two Thomas Partey's in centre midfield, I'd take two Thomas Partey's.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You know what? You make a very, very good point there, Tom. It's just that the thing is about Pepe is that sometimes he can be so unpredictable. He can just be that wild card. I think his potential is so high. This is why I'm not willing to give up on him.
Where do we draw the line at potential, Mo, though? Like I was with you in this camp, and I still am. It's a funny one because a lot of fans like Pepe, and for obvious reason, he's a talented individual on the ball, but he doesn't deliver where it counts often enough. So where do we draw the line as seeing him from potential to flop?
Yeah, listen, Lev, Tom, sometimes people cut through a conversation with just knife-like clarity. And the points that you've made about when you give up on potential, we're in the third year now, and Tom, the point that you've made about, a ready-made Saka-type player. If I say Saka over Pepe on the right, why would I not say a Saka equivalent on the left? Yeah, fine, I have to concede.
Okay. Guys, I'm just conscious of time and there's other things I have to discuss. For the purpose of the prediction thing that we've got going on, our next game is Palace at home, right? So can I just get a quick prediction and we'll get to talk about that if we have time. Lev?
Palace at home.
Quickly.
2-1 win.
Mo?
I'm going for another clean sheet. I'm going to go 1-0 Arsenal.
Tom?
2-0 Arsenal.
I agree with Tom. 2-0 Arsenal. I think this is the first time that the opposition team will come to the Emirates and the opposition manager will probably get more love than our own manager.
That's a good point, Shaheen.
Which says a lot.
Do you reckon it, Vieira? Whoa.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, we talk about different things in this show, different topics. And there is a topic that has been going around today on Twitter, and I see a lot of people talk about it. So we will talk about it as well, and we'll give our views on it. I'll start with
super chat first with Sulak.
All right, let me just read out the super chat.
Sorry, I know it's a chore, Shaheen.
No, it's all right. If Arteta cannot improve on last season 8th position after spending £150 million, should he now be sacked at the end of the season? Guys, yes or no, quickly. Lev?
Well,
quickly, yes or no?
I would, but depending on when he finished, where we finished.
Mo?
Yeah, if we finish 8th again, yeah, he gets sacked.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you finish 8th, yes, he should. But the problem is there's this mentality that we're not playing for this season with this 150 million spend. We're playing for future seasons. But for me, yes, he should if you can't improve 8th.
Cool. Going back to the subject. There was an incident at the Brighton game with Pippa from AFTV that she was attacked or cornered by a few guys. Lev, did you put down?
What? No. No. I didn't put that on.
Can you take it off, please?
Do you want me to take it off? Where is it?
I didn't put it on. Anyway,
I didn't put it on. I swear down, I haven't put it on. That must be you, Shaheen.
No, it
Seriously.
wasn't. Anyway, so there was an incident with Pippa that apparently she was cornered and she was with her son, which it was uncomfortable for her based on what she said. I want to ask you, Mo, because you used to be part of AFTV. have you ever experienced anything like this?
Oh yeah. I mean, I had someone come up to me after the Tottenham game, and even though now I'm obviously not even part of AFTV, and they came up to me and they said, "Are you not going to get any views today, are you?" And I said, "Well, no, we will." Like I said, I will. I'll get quite a few because we've just beaten Tottenham 3-1. Like we'll get quite a few. But I think he obviously must have been talking about AFTV rather than my own sort of YouTube channel. But on the basis that he thought it was AFTV, yeah, that was one example very recently. And I've had numerous in the past. But listen, it's very, very different, in my opinion, when a guy or a group of guys give a guy stick. Yeah. Now, this might sound really bizarre, but let's say, for example, I was in like a woman-dominated environment. Let's say fashion, you could say, is generally more female.
I can see you in that, Mo, 100%.
But if I went there and I started getting a lot of sort of animosity from loads of women, I, even as a bloke, would find that like, oh God, like this isn't very nice. This is slightly uncomfortable. I'm not saying I'll go cry in the toilets, and obviously Pippa didn't do that. I'm not suggesting that at all. But it would make me feel like, God, why am I being like, I'm already feeling like I'm sticking out like a sore thumb. I'm already feeling like a bit of a minority. This is the last thing I want. I would have liked to have felt a bit more comfortable. So look, I will get into, I know Pippa personally, so I want to be very careful about what
That's why I asked you first, because we don't know Pippa.
Yeah.
You do.
And so I want to be really careful about doing her justice because she's a lovely girl. She really, really is a lovely girl. Even aside from the whole AFTV thing, I saw her outside Burnley, went up, gave her a hug. She's a lovely girl. And she's been fine and absolutely great with me since. What I would say, being completely objective, the wording of her tweet, I think, was a bit misguided. It was a bit ill-informed. And the reason I say that is because if someone who had no context about AFTV's relationship with Arsenal fans, and especially away fans, I think they would reach a conclusion based on her tweet that isn't necessarily true. But the point is, the way people have reacted to her, instead of pointing out just that fact that, hold on a second, Pippa, the way you've worded this isn't very helpful or is slightly misleading, what they've gone and done is tried to completely diminish and invalidate her point. Now, going back to what I was saying, if I was in a female-dominated environment, I wouldn't really want loads of women flipping, shouting at me. I'd feel quite singled out. I think it's even more pronounced for a woman in football with all the alcohol flowing and the aggression and passion and stuff. So I think when a group of men are chanting at a woman and she's not in the protection even of the stands where there's stewards and that sort of thing, this is away from the ground as I understand it, you need to take a look at yourself as men doing that. It's just not what anyone would be proud of, and it's not what you'd wish for your mum, your sister, your daughter. So don't do it to Pippa. And the fact that she had a son with her, irrespective of what you're saying, people might say, oh, we didn't swear, it was just get out of our club. But the son is obviously going to be able to pick up on the fact that this is not pleasant. Why make a mother explain to her son that, or make the son ask the question of the mother, like, what's going on here? So I think people need to stop skirting around the issue or trying to justify it based on AFTV. AFTV and their flaws is a completely separate conversation to the reality that Pippa faced at a match where she was made to feel uncomfortable and slightly threatened. Yes, her wording was ill-advised. Again, separate issue. Don't let that diminish her personal experience. So from my point of view, I send my love out to Pippa, and I think it's a real shame. But the advice I would give to her is please don't engage with people on Twitter because you know that there's no reasoning with these people. These people are the same people that talk about Arsenal fan TV embarrassing the club or abusing people, yet they then go and abuse AFTV. So it's like, hold on a second. Isn't that exactly the same thing? And you can't say, oh no, but this isn't being recorded, because I've seen it recorded. I've seen it go round. So they don't hold themselves to the high standards and high values that they attempt to hold AFTV to. And everyone knows about my problems with AFTV, but I'm still going to be objective about this and say, when you yourself don't practice what you preach, that's actually when it starts to take away from your point and make it look like sour grapes about AFTV's success. So shout out to Pippa and people that criticize AFTV and that sort of thing. At least practice what you preach.
Yeah, I mean, look, me and Lev, we spoke about this earlier today as well, and we also condemn what happened to Pippa, where it's not right for her, especially with her child, that people going up to her. Pippa, I don't want this to sound wrong, but Pippa is a nobody in AFT. She's just a presenter. If you have an issue with the way that AFTV is conducting themselves, if you see Robbie in a game, just go up to him. He seems like approachable and tell him, listen, this is my thoughts on your channel, and I think
they've already done that, Shaheen, a few times.
No, I mean in a respectful, listen, it's not easy doing a YouTube channel, right? It's a lot of hard work, and to a certain degree, you have to appreciate what all the hard work Robbie has done to build AFTV. What they're doing about how they're conducting themselves is secondary, right? But just respectfully try to put your point of view across.
But Shaheen, look, let's be really honest about this, right? Robbie has done very well with AFTV, but he's very selective about when he listens and takes on board feedback. Loads of people would have done exactly what you're saying via email, yeah, and said like, this shouldn't be on there, this shouldn't be on there. I myself pointed out via WhatsApp to him directly the fact that an anti-Semitic video went up on AFTV. This is me, someone that at that time I was in his inner circle in a way, someone that was a real well-wisher. Did he listen to me and take that video down? No. So what makes you think that someone coming up to him at an away game saying, Robbie, I don't like the way you do this, blah, blah. Yeah, well, there's been racism on there. You American, go back.
I hear what you're saying. No, I hear what you're saying. And I don't know Robbie at all. It was just an assumption. Lev, what's your thoughts on this?
Right. Well, firstly, I will second what Moh said about Pippa and her experience individually. She shouldn't have been subjected to that. And me, as a parent myself, I wouldn't like to take my son or whatever and get abused for being on the show with you, Shaheen. However, this is where I think the lines get blurred and the problem is occurring. Firstly, the wording that was used was poor. It was gearing more towards a race matter, where, let's be honest here, this wasn't a race issue. This wasn't anything to do with her being black or a woman, although we do condemn a woman being treated like that in the ground and her son being treated like that. This was nothing to do with her being black or a woman. This was almost like death by association. This was an issue with her being on a part of a certain channel, which is causing an issue within the fan base. And the reason I think this issue is reoccurring continually is that these things have happened quite a few times now. We had the Man City tweet that apparently Arsenal fans were singing and cheering and celebrating. Badly advised, taken down, changed. We had the situation, I'm going to speak frankly, God rest his soul as well, because we knew him really well, the Claude situation. He made a mistake. It could have been handled a lot better. First, Robbie tried to cover it, and then he realized he couldn't cover it. And then maybe rightfully, because it was his own business, told Claude, look, maybe we need some distance. And, that could have been resolved in a better way than the troop situation, which was resolved in some way. But there seems to be an issue with the way the fan base feel they're being represented by Arsenal Fan TV, right? You've got a lot of stuff goes through Arsenal Fan TV now. Sky Sports use Arsenal Fan TV for Arsenal perspectives. They use Arsenal Fan TV for the interview with Carragher and I think with Gary Neville, when they sent some people down that didn't really represent us in the way potentially we could have been represented. So I think the issue is Arsenal fan base is looking at Arsenal Fan TV and saying, you do not represent our views, you do not represent our perspective. And these things keep happening. Now, to use the race thing did grind on me a little bit.
Wait. But Lev, sorry, I have to say this for Pippa's benefit.
Yeah, go on.
I don't feel like she used the race.
I'm not saying she used it. I'm not saying
really, really poorly worded.
It was. I agree
in my
with
opinion.
You, and with everything I've heard with everything I've heard with regards to Pippa, everyone says the same thing. Really nice girl. I think it's a tough one because you can't tweet like you normally can tweet when you're part of a big organization like that because you're reaching so many people. You could say what you want, I could say what I want. It's not really going to bother any people, but you get it wrong and you're representing something that subscribers are 1.5 million, you're going to cause issues. And the problem is, my problem with AFTV in this matter is I know she didn't choose to use the black issue, but if we're going to use race, where do you draw the line in the sense of they had Black Lives Matter going all the way through. And then with all due respect, Mo, you're on here, you're wearing that Palestine t-shirt. You wore that t-shirt, it was blurred off.
Yeah.
How do we decide one group's, is okay to represent, another group is not? If you're going to back injustice, back it properly, but then use those words, that's where I think she lost everybody. Say white men and black woman. I think that's where the problem lies.
Sorry, Tom. I know you probably want to say something as well, but as you can imagine, I've got so much to say about this. For me, honestly speaking, there's now a bit of a problem of having a bit of lack of objectivity within AFTV. That's what I'm seeing now externally. And the example of that is, when they were very crass in their behavior in trying to offer Thai alcohol when they knew that he was Muslim, the Muslim community found that really offensive. I know I found it really offensive. I know loads of people I spoke to that were the Muslim friends of mine found it really offensive. And not a single apology was issued. And when I couldn't believe that even Charlene, who was the perpetrator of that, didn't offer an apology. And all my interactions with her up to the time I left AFTV were pleasant. She was fine. And I thought to myself, I'm really surprised that they didn't apologize. And then I remember a few days later, I saw a clip of Robbie sort of doing an Italian accent, like talking about a player. It wasn't offensive in any way. And then he was like, oh, people are probably going to get on my back for that now. And it kind of made me realize that you actually think that people's grievances or issues are out of hatred rather than out of anything valid or honest on their part. And is that sort of like maybe that paranoia that is clouding their judgment on these issues a little bit? So much like the Man City thing, Pippa kind of went to war a little bit on Twitter with these people, when in reality, I think it should have been simply, when sometimes people are just being hateful, and I get that. And other
100%.
times they've got a point, but their paranoia doesn't allow them to differentiate now. With the Man City thing, AFTV should have turned around and said, other media outlets reported it, fair enough. However, they don't claim to be Arsenal fans. We do. Therefore, we've got a higher standard in terms of what we report that's disparaging about Arsenal. We put our hands up. We shouldn't have done it. That should have been the response. Instead, they tried to just deflect and say, oh, other people reported it as well. We weren't the only ones. But that's not the point. You claim to be fans, right? So surely you shouldn't be doing that. So this is where I feel like the problem is internally in AFTV, and perhaps they need someone like external, objective, that can turn around and say, actually, guys, this feedback you're getting is valid. And also sometimes ignore this feedback. This feedback is out of hate.
Can I just add to that, Mo, very quickly before we go to Tom? The thing is, right, I 100% agree with what Mo is saying in the sense of I don't think she worded it deliberately to say it was a race matter, right? But that's the impression that tweet gave. Now, the problem you have with that is it opens up a whole load of other things aimed at the fan base. It makes our fan base look bad. It makes us look like we're, doing something far worse. I'm not saying I'm not condoning what, I don't know exactly what happened, but regardless, a woman and her child should not be abused anywhere, let alone a football ground. However, straight after that tweet, just underneath it, you had a tweet from the Daily Mail saying, I will never forget. Yeah, nice one, Pippa. I will never forget the day I was at the Arsenal ground and I heard them doing a hissing noise for gas chamber against Spurs. Now, I'm not being funny. I have been to many, many London derbies, and I can't say I have ever heard anyone being like in unison racist or doing hissing sounds and all that. But it opens our fan base up to this kind of ridicule, which is what AFTV are being accused of, and it doesn't help, and it only compounds the situation by getting it wrong publicly. I'm not saying what she said or how she felt was incorrect. Maybe what she wrote was incorrect.
Tom, you've heard what the guys have to say. Do you agree with them? Also, should we judge should we not mix Pippa's tweet and AFTV in this? Because Pippa has tweeted out of her own account. Are we bringing FTV into this for no reason, or no? There is a valid point, and I'm just trying to play.
Well, what were the fans chanting? It was obvious what the fans were chanting.
I heard
so
something on Sky actually during a game, which I couldn't understand why. But apparently, there's clips after the game, most away games, that apparently there are people doing that. But I really want to hear Tom's thought process on these.
Obviously, it's difficult for me. I'll speak about it frankly. Like, I'm a white man. I have no right to say how a black woman felt at any time, because I will never probably ever experience racism in my life. So there is no context in which I can ever say you did or did not experience racism, because how am I ever supposed to know what that feels like? I can't. So I can't tell Pippa if she felt that she was racially abused or not, and if she says that she is, I have no right to tell her that she didn't. So that's probably where I'd leave the Pippa thing, because I don't think I have a right to tell her either way. I don't know if the tweet was worded badly or not. I'm not educated enough to really have a point of view, I suppose, on that. On the AFTV thing, I found it really uncomfortable listening to the chant video. I'll be frank, and if you don't mind me, Shaheen, saying what was said. I mean, tell me now if you don't mind me saying what was said on the video.
No, of course, man. Go for it.
There was a chant, I think, in which Robbie is described as a sex offender. In the chant.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's not right. I'm sure even Moh would even say probably that's a bit out of order.
Nothing worse for a guy to be accused of.
The fact that you're saying even probably, of course, come on, this is just disgusting. This is like,
yeah.
I mean, this is what I was talking about earlier. I didn't really want to say the chant, but this is what I'm talking about earlier. On one hand, you're saying AFTV is an embarrassment, and you're saying to Robbie, oh, you go and let Troops and DT and this person and that person say this, that, the other. And then you're saying that. Like, come on.
That's a really good point, Mo. That is a massive point.
And this is the thing. This is the inconsistency and the hypocrisy. These guys that are doing that chant do not care about people being abused on AFTV. They don't care about that. For me, it comes from a different place. And that different place is jealousy, for example, because clearly if they did care about that, they wouldn't themselves be doing it. So on that case, irrespective of what's gone before with me and Robbie, I feel for Robbie on that. And I think that's disgusting. His children are going to have to see that.
That's disgusting.
Really out of order.
But that's a really good point, Tom. Well done for raising that.
Do you know what? That is a really good point, in the sense of, if you expect them to be a certain way, then you be a certain way. Otherwise, why are you expecting them to be any different? I do understand that. I mean, it is football chants and banter, but that's not banter, man. That's fucking horrible.
And I would add, right, that chant is unacceptable. Like, and people should just be banned for that. It's so out of order. But the chant of AFTV, get out of our club, when you're shouting that at a woman, I think as a bloke, you should be better than that. But when you're shouting that in the stands during a game, I've got no issue with that. Even when I was part of AFT, I had no issue with that, because there's a lot of people that feel like AFTV is a really, really negative, brings a negative association to Arsenal. And they feel very passionate that they want the world to know that Arsenal fans don't like AFTV. That's important to them. And the best way of doing that is so that the cameras can pick it up, so it goes viral on social media. You're not abusing anyone. You're not intimidating anyone. That is completely fair enough. And I understand their reasons for doing that. So there's no issue on that element of things. But doing it to Pippa on the way to a game, whether she's with her son or not, I just think, come on, lads. Don't pick on a girl.
Just to have kind of my 10 cents on the FTV thing.
Carry on. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Honestly, you guys are much better place to speak about stuff than I am. But on my kind of thoughts on the AFTV, like I always am very open about my issues that I've had in the past with AFTV. Just so everyone is aware, like, I produced some content in the past. It was used by AFTV. I wasn't credited, and I reached out to them. They apologized, but never corrected the issue. Since then, some of my stuff has been quoted and have been credited. So in that sense, that's kind of water under the bridge. It is what it is. But I have had issues in the past. So just it's very clear that you understand the context of where I'm coming from. I spoke a lot about this on my morning show this morning based upon that chant video, and specifically a lot of, I think there was a tweet saying, I can't remember what the tweet was. There's a tweet that got quite a lot of likes and stuff about AFTV last night, and it caused AFTV to trend, as it so often does. And I've always kind of maintained, if you don't like it, don't watch it. It's as simple as that for me. Like, if you don't have to involve yourself with it. Lev, I understand what you were saying about the side of things where a lot of Arsenal fans feel like AFTV sometimes represents the general kind of viewpoint of the fan base. And I think that obviously different medias that use certain people that go on AFTV on the Sky or whatever, obviously if you're someone who doesn't like AFTV and you see that, you're going to be a bit done in about seeing that and thinking, well, they don't speak for me. And what I would say is that you'd probably just need to care less. And I mean, that sounds really blunt, but I think people really don't need to take it as seriously as they can. Yeah. If you are offended by seeing someone from AFTV speaking their opinion on Sky, and your reason for being offended is because you feel that person doesn't represent you, then great. But you don't have to get annoyed about it. Move on with your day. Move on with your life. Like, if one of the biggest issues is in your social circles, which I can understand maybe another scenario where some of your mates who aren't Arsenal fans give you a bit of stick because you're an Arsenal fan and they laugh at you because AFTV is there, and you'd be like, you just turn around and say to them, I don't watch it. I don't like what they say. I don't agree with what they say. I don't care about it.
But I think it's so on the head. Why take it so seriously?
I don't get it. I really don't.
It's because it's such a big channel with so much coverage that, listen, I'm not agreeing with it, Mo. Listen, I've always said fair play to Robbie. You know, he worked really hard. He's gone up and down the country season upon season. It's not something you do overnight. He's worked really hard, and he could only report on how we were performing. If it's negative, it's negative. I've never had an issue with any of that. I'm just trying to find some sense in what's happened and look at it look at it recently, what's gone on and where the breakdowns happened. Do you know what I mean?
I get, some people make the argument of, if you don't like it, don't watch it. That argument to me is applicable of what we're doing, the Arsenal Lounge, where if you could actually avoid it and you wouldn't know it exists if you unfollow, unsubscribe, block, all of that stuff. With AFTV, you can't, because it's become so big that it actually now you will stumble across it, whether you like it or not, on Sky Sports, on your timeline, whatever. So I do understand that fans, as I said earlier, want to make it known that actually, no, we don't like it as well. Don't use it against us as a reflection on us whilst, we're literally in the stand singing that we don't want it in our club. So I understand their purpose there. But I have to agree with Tom, you can do that, but why do people get so upset about it? I just feel like it shouldn't be one of your top 10 problems in life, but some people make it seem like it's such a personal issue for them.
Unfortunately, that seems to be the case. Anyway,
can I just say something? Where they lost, the only place they lost me, Mo, was what happened with your situation and what happened with the Claude situation. I just looked at it being from my ethnic background and I said to myself, is that fair? And I don't think it was. That's the only thing I've ever said. Anything that I don't agree with AFTV is the handling of certain situations. I don't care what they do as a channel. I don't care what sort of perspectives they have. It's their choice. It's their views. And I've watched AFTV and I've enjoyed it over the years. But I think as they become a bigger animal, there's things that they've got to do, keep sponsors happy and things like that, that comes into play where you've got to make a decision based on finance and your business or morals, and that's a little bit where they failed for me. That's all I'm saying. But I can say that because I'm on a smaller channel where we've got a lot more leeway.
I'll be honest with you guys, right? Things really changed for me as if you guys have watched that explanation I did about the whole Palestine issue with Loki. If you've seen that, you'll see that I explained that things changed for me when that incident happened with Robbie, when he told me to take off my hoodie. But I had always planned, even before that point, that I felt like, unfortunately, the core reason of AFTV's existence, like their real sort of, what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but it had changed. Arsenal Fan TV aren't what they used to be.
Their ethos.
Their essence has changed. Yeah. And I felt that. And I was actually going to speak to Robbie, in between the two seasons and say to him, Robbie, come on, let's get it back to what it was, for the fans, by the fans, all that sort of stuff. So I do think, it's not the same. It has lost a massive part of its charm. But ultimately, if you're still going to try and maintain that motto of for the fans, by the fans, you can't go on Twitter and start warring with other fans. If it's for the fans, you should be listening to what the fans want. And no fans want abuse. You should have listened to that a long time ago. So I feel like they're being a bit too selective, a bit too inconsistent. But ultimately, we've transcended the Pippa issue to a wider AFTV thing. I think we have to get it back to basics. Yeah. Forget AFTV, forget black, forget white, forget the chant. A woman went to a game and felt intimidated and uncomfortable. So don't do it. Simple as that.
100% agree with that. Yeah, just disgusting.
Yeah. Right. Enough of about AFTV. We've come to the end of this week's show. It's another tremendous show. How did you guys feel? You guys enjoy doing the show?
Yeah, always a pleasure joining you guys. Absolutely,
always a pleasure having you guys. We do this every Monday, guys. I think we're going to international break, and when we do come back, I think we've got Crystal Palace at home on a Monday night, which probably means we won't be able to do this show. Maybe we can sort something out with the guys on Tuesday to talk about the game. Also, I want to ask you guys something on the chats. And obviously, if you're watching this show afterwards, please write this in the comments. We always read the comments. Even if you're disagreeing with what we said or what we've done, we take your points on board. Me and Lev are thinking about doing watch-alongs from a studio environment. And I just want to know what you guys think of that. Would that be something that you guys would watch, would want to see? So let us know in the comments or let us know in the chats as well. And so we can maybe plan accordingly. Mo, last words.
I'm just going to say, listen, if you've enjoyed the conversation today, we've obviously spoken from the heart about the whole AFTV thing as well. Hit the like button, please. That's all we ask.
Yeah, hit the like, man. It's only 107 likes, but we've got about 250 watching. So
whilst we do our outros, instead of clicking the X button, click the like button and then the X button if you enjoyed the chat that we had.
Yeah. I'm sorry, we probably won't be able to ask your question to the guys because we've been going about an hour and a half, and we normally do this show for 1 hour. This FTV, this Pippa tweet subject, it went a bit longer than what I thought. And our apologies. Next time we'll do a show. Hopefully we get to ask.
No questions.
On Wednesdays,
we promised OG, DB, and then K, we promised him one question. Can't we give him one question?
Well, if you give him, then you got to give everybody else. I promise you.
No, I promised him earlier.
No. I promise you next time we'll put you on. On Wednesdays, we'll do something with Lev as well. Me and Lev, and we'll try to get some guests on. So tune into that one as well. And this show every Monday at 8 o'clock. Tom.
Thanks for having me on. As always, guys, appreciate the time. And, Lev, you are relevant. I'm sorry. I apologise for
too late. Too late. Too late, Tom.
You've hurt the guy.
It's too late, man.
You've hurt the guy.
Not going on that channel again.
Right, Lev, what's your last word, sweetheart?
My last words are, Gooner family, love you all. Lounger family, love you just as much. You all matter to me, unlike Tom, who just says it's only this person or that person, pretends to like you. But, I've just loved doing this every Monday, enjoyed it thoroughly. Look out for the shows that are up and coming. I think, are we doing one on Wednesday, Shaheen? Are we doing one on Wednesday?
Possibly, yeah. Maybe.
Just quickly, Sulak in the chat says, big up, Tom. Very mature for his age. How young do you think I am?
Very mature for his age.
Which one is that?
Unbelievable.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There
so
you
we
go.
can.
There you go.
How old are you, Tom?
26.
That's
How old do you think I was? Like 21, just straight out of uni.
You're probably the youngest out of everybody here.
Probably,
I know Lev is a few years' time, Lev will be a granddad.
What are you saying about my daughters, man? Live on air. Has he got a problem? We got a problem. Have we got a problem now?
No, I don't, man.
Anyway, can we go now? I've had enough of today.
I need to go. I've got dinner and a wife to go and see.
Right, guys, thank you.
I've got to go find where my daughters are.
No, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Please hit the like button. Put it on the comments and put on the chat as well if you want me and Lev to do watch along from a studio environment. And,
200 likes. We'll do it.
Yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. It was a wonderful show. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Tom. And Lev, my fellow producer, who doesn't pick moments to put comments on the screen. He just puts them on as and when he sees fit.
Rogue.
Anyway, thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you guys soon.